LDNRBS. We have another special guest in the building, none other than Shocka. Let's give him a clap out here.
Hey.
I've been looking forward to this one, man.
In the building, man, live in the flesh.
Most definitely. Been looking forward to this one.
Have you?
I have, man. I have.
You know that? You've been looking forward to it.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
Real. Now, there's a lot of stuff we can get into with you.
Yes.
Can we just wheel it up though? Because
yeah, go on.
So you came across.
Yeah.
It was actually Shahara Tahira. She was shouting you out on her show. Big up Shahara.
Yeah.
And I started listening to some of your tracks, and I was like, "Who's this guy?" And I was preying on the gram, and I could see that you do a lot of spoken word videos as well, which I want to get into in a minute. But for those who don't know, who are you? Where are you from? Talk to us.
I go by the name of Shocka, if you haven't heard already. I'm from North London, Tottenham, Broadwater Farm, to be specific. Just to go into my history, should I go into my history? You're going to ask me?
I'd like to know everything. You know me, I'm nosy now out.
Basically, I was in a grime collective called Marvel.
Okay.
It was me, Double S,
Most definitely,
and Vertex, and we did so much stuff, man. We had like 5 mixtapes. We had this mixtape series called Marvel FM. So it went up to Marvel FM 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And we toured with Chipmunk, we toured with Skepta, and we toured with Diversity. I don't know if you remember Diversity. Of
course.
No.
We toured. That tour was crazy. That was an arena tour as well.
Oh,
so that was the first time doing like that capacity of shows.
And talk us through what that was like, that experience.
It's the dream.
Hey.
That's the only way I can put it. For every artist, that's the dream. Like you want to be touring, you want to be in front of you want to be in front of a large audience. And we won a mixtape award as well, so you want to win awards. Like we did a lot. We did a lot in a short space of time.
Let's not even humble it. A lot of people saw you as one of the best. When it comes to Marvel, everyone always goes back to Marvel and speaks about how amazing you guys, even lyrically, all of you. So tell me about even that time period, how it was, because you guys were young. Yeah. Tell me about that whole time period.
How old were you when you joined?
Was like... Double was the youngest, so he was probably about 16, 17. Damn. I was like...
You guys look young 18. In the pictures, to be honest.
I still look young. I still look young. I just turned 30 last year.
Damn.
Yeah. How old do you think I was? Yeah. How old do you think I was?
I thought you was like 23 the most.
Yeah, she's going to shoot her shot. I'm not joking.
He always thinks I'm going to shoot my shot. Just let me move to the peak. Anyway.
But yeah, we was young. We was like 16, 17, 18, like doing crazy things. So, that experience, I can just explain it as a dream. Because I look back on it now and it feels like a dream. Like sometimes when I'm bored, I just type in Marvel on YouTube. Yeah. And obviously, luckily that we're in the era where everything's documented.
100%.
Our whole history's there. So I watch some of the things and I'm like, yo, that was crazy. Because I realized whenever like you're in it, you don't realize what's going on. Like when you're in a situation and it's moving so quick, you don't realize what's going on. Yeah. Like a Kojo Funds, a J House, a Mo Stacks. Right now, they're not going to appreciate what they're doing till later on. When they look back and be like, "Yo, we really went top 10. We really went top 20." It's only now I'm really appreciating the Marvel situation because fans that's grown up are finding me now because them times there weren't no social media, so you couldn't get through to me. Yeah. So we didn't realize the impact we actually had.
Definitely.
We couldn't see. You couldn't interact. Like I can message Beyonce now on Instagram. And let her know how I feel. Them times it's only if you saw me in person you can tell me. So now they're all finding me on Instagram and messaging me like, yo, I was listening to you when I was 11, when I was in 6th form. So it's only now I'm seeing the actual impact of like what it was. Like our first mixtape, Marvel FM 1, was free. All the mixtapes were free. Yeah. That's a big regret. I wish we sold them. Yeah. Because it would have been a game changer because of the numbers we was doing.
Of course.
But they was all free. But our blog kept crashing. Like first one we did free, we got 10,000 downloads in a week. And at the time, thinking about those numbers, it didn't seem like anything because Chip was doing crazy numbers.
Definitely.
was doing crazy numbers.
Definitely.
But I think about it now and I was like, yo, we had 10,000 downloads in a week. Pure school kids that I didn't realize like how big it was. So yeah, it was crazy.
When we say downloads, was this like LimeWire days or?
No.
No.
It's just Afterline.
Yeah,
iTunes.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm just
Yeah.
trying to, gauge the year gap that we're in.
Definitely.
So, with that being said, that is massive. Did you ever get into any discussions with labels, or did you ever go down that route?
We were signed to an independent label
Nice.
called Whiskey Roads.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if
Obviously. Heard of Risky Roads.
Yeah, they're like legendary in grime. We were signed to
Yeah, they've actually been
label.
on our show. We've had them before, Risky Roads, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're one of us. Definitely. So big up. What was that like?
That was sick because that came at a time where like no labels wanted to sign us
Okay.
Why?
because we were free black boys. I'm just going to keep it real.
Whoa.
Speak. Well, we're at LDNRBS. We're going to get to this.
This is what
But
we
yeah,
call the
keep on going.
Spit on the mic.
I was going to keep it really real. Like we was free black boys and we was completely different to what was out. There was nothing like us. Me and Double still talk about it now. I still haven't seen our replacement. I've seen different groups come in like Western, but I haven't seen a group like us.
There isn't another. I would agree with that. I wouldn't say there's another Marvel
I
that has
haven't
come
seen
out
it.
as organic as you guys came out with.
So like they kept saying it. Like, I remember we'll be in like events and A&Rs will come up to us and be like, straight up, they kept it real. It was like, we want to sign you, but we just don't know how we're gonna
Market.
market it and package it to England. It's not like how the game is now. The way the game is now, so many barriers has been broken.
'Cause the
it's
internet.
international now.
Of
The
course.
internet. If London's not working for you, you can. I was about to swear. You can go out there
Yeah.
and build like a whole different fan base for yourself in Europe or something else. Them times were solely dependent on England. So they was thinking, how do we push you lot to the mainstream? So it was difficult. But now the game changed. Look at Stormzy. Stormzy is a tall black youth with a go-to, broken every single stereotype and barrier there could be. So yeah, game
Big
changed.
We are
Stormzy.
going to move on from Marvel, but I still have another question because I know there's a lot of Marvel fans still
Yeah,
to this
I get it
day.
every day.
I would say if Marvel came out today,
Yes.
what do you think would happen in this market?
We would be viral sensations because if you think about how we was then, we was kind of like viral sensations then with our blogs and our freestyles, and so we would be killing the internet, all over the internet.
What made you pick up? What made you do that back in the day with your freestyles? Because you guys, you could say one of the innovators. I can't get my mouth. Yeah, can't get my. Yeah, I got a weird mouth. I can't do it. But yeah,
What made us? Because I think Vertex played a major part. Vertex was a director as well, so it was so easy for us to put visuals together. And that was people's problems because you got to go find a director and pay them a budget. We had an in-house one, in-house. That's why we had the Marvel Monday series. I don't know if you remember that. Every Monday, we'll get the supporters to tell us what beat they want us to jump on, and we'll shoot a video for it. Most artists probably can get the supporters to tell them what beat to jump on, but they can't shoot a video because that's hassle. Because we had Vertex in our group, it was easy for us to shoot videos every week, and the videos weren't low quality videos. These were on red cams. I'm only appreciating red cam now. Them times when we was using it, I didn't care.
you just went to.
I thought whatever he's holding looks big. But now, like the last video I shot it on a red, and I know how much I paid for to get it out, and I know whatever. And I was looking, and I was like, yo, we was playing around with that thing.
All right, well, I'm going to ask it then. So what happened?
What happened to us? Wow. That's
As he looks
I'm
at the
gonna
camera.
ask it.
That's the magic question. Now, do you know what's so sad about our situation? Well, I wouldn't say sad because everything happens for a reason.
Of course.
But sad on like the fans and supporters' behalf is that our situation was an in-house situation.
Yeah. Okay.
It wasn't like there was outside forces that was like stopping us or was getting blocked by the industry. We were just having like disputes in-house. Like Double wanted to go solo. Like he felt like, because Double started as a solo artist, let's not forget, he was the biggest first. He was like the face of Marvel.
100%.
And then he joined into Marvel. So people was telling him like, you got more potential to go solo. Then Vertex was like, just to keep it all the way real, he was kind of misbehaving at the same time. Like we was having certain opportunities and his character was like getting in the way of the opportunities, and that's making Double more anxious. That's making me more anxious.
Yeah.
So like we just thought it's just best to just
Separate.
So we separate.
At first, did you feel like you knew what direction you'd go in?
I had
as
no,
an artist.
I had no clue. I had no. I wasn't gonna pursue my music after because I was the only one out of Double and V that has always been in a group situation. I was in a group before Marvel. I was in a group called Chain Gang.
Okay.
Then I joined Marvel because they saw. It's a long story.
Yeah.
But I was in a group called Chain Gang, and then I joined Marvel. They've all had solo situations prior to that. Vertex was a director before that, so he stood on his own before. Double S was Double S before with Chipmunk, so he stood on his own before. This is my first time actually stepping out.
Interesting thing is when you walked in, Nyamka asked, have you done another interview?
Yeah.
I guess Nyamka's from a different generation.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing that you came from a place where everybody recognizes you from Marvel.
Yeah.
Yet you've redefined yourself completely, and you can't miss you right now.
Yeah.
That's one thing you can't do. You are everywhere. Literally, another video comes out, you're having a conversation with another person. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
So tell me about you redefining yourself.
So basically, after I left Marvel, I had a real life situation that happened to me where like I had a breakdown and I ended up getting sectioned in a mental health hospital.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting you say that, because that is literally mental health, depression, all of that, especially from a male perspective. That is becoming a trend on our show.
Yeah, we were just talking about that.
Yeah, so I'm really glad you said that. If you don't mind, obviously, you know, what happened, what was the journey?
Yeah, I just went through a phase where like I like to describe our minds as computers, because they really are computers. There's different programs on there, and you've got to be careful what you install and what you don't install. This is just the best way for me to describe it to you. And I feel like my computer crashed from an overload of everything I was going through. You can imagine.
After Marvel ended?
This was after Marvel ended.
Okay.
And when it was going pear-shaped.
Okay.
After we lost our deal and all of these sort of things. So like, yeah, I just say like, I had a breakdown. I went through a serious situation, and then while going through that situation, I made a decision to myself that if I'm gonna pursue music, I want it to be about real life things and real topics and real things people experience. Because me going through that situation was kind of a blessing, because it opened me up to a different world I didn't know about. Before I got sectioned or even ended up in that situation, I used to make fun of people that went through mental health.
Interesting.
Not in a malice way, but it was just what people do when you see someone. You just look at him, he's crazy on the street, or like you didn't know. But like being in there and talking to people, just sitting down and talking to them about their situation. There's all types of people in there. There's young people, there's adults in there, and I'm sitting there and I'm talking to them. How did you get in there? And they're telling me my wife stressed me out. Wow. She's taking she's taking the kids. Do you know what I mean? Like this stuff. This is real. Like she's taking the kids away, and some people can't handle that. So it made me start to like really look into mental health things and talk about it and put it in my music. Like all the singles I brought out, for me, I look at them as the keys to deal with mental health. Like the self-love song you're about to get into, that's like the key. That's one of the keys. That's the biggest key. Like self-love is the key to like
getting into
all the problems we're going through now in society. It stems from lack of self-love. For you to want to even grab a knife and stab another fellow human being, that means that you must be disconnected from that human being in a certain way. You're looking at him as separate. But if you love yourself,
you wouldn't see
exactly. So how did that disconnect happen? So it's like it's important for me to make these songs and instill that message in this younger generation. What I'm saying it's not like it hasn't been said before. People's been doing it for years. Bob Marley's been talking about one love, and people's been doing it for years. But I just think it's important every generation that you instill that message. That message can't get lost.
What you said about knife crime definitely hit me. I love that 100%. You touched on the knife crime culture that is right now.
Yeah.
Tell me what your perspective is on that.
On the knife crime culture?
Yeah, because it is in London right now. Because I guess it's interesting, because the time you come up, it was somewhat like that, and then it died like down. It's turned into a jungle. Yeah. So tell me what your perspective is on that.
It's hard for me to judge it, because I understand from both perspectives. That's why what I did the other day with the Conscious First Crud thing was so important.
Amazing. It wasn't just important, it was amazing, honestly.
Thank you, I appreciate it. But me being the conscious side, how old are you?
I'm 26.
Like our age group, 26, 27, 28, 28 above, they're probably siding with me. Like everything you're saying makes sense.
Yeah, 100%.
But you can't just have one half of the story. So I had to bring his side for his generation to, because he was the voice of his generation, because they felt like him. I see them in the comments like, yes,
straight away.
need to do more of this. So it's like, it's good to hear both sides. But when I heard his verse that day, he made me look at it from an angle that I never looked at it from. Because I was like, what inspired you to write that verse like that?
For the listeners too, what was his perspective?
He's basically trying to say, when he went to the funeral of his friend, Kobe, when he went to the funeral of his friend that got killed, he felt why they go out and want to ride out on the ops. The actual pain of what it caused the family. And I get it, but like, what I'm starting to understand is that the reason why I will probably go down the forgiveness route or put the knives down is because I'm from more of an evolved standpoint of thinking. I'm in my 30s and I understand the damages it caused the families and what it can do. But an average 15, 16, 17 year old is not going to be thinking like that. If you kill one of their friends and it causes them that amount of grief, the first thing they're going to do is retaliate. If I spoke to an 18 year old and I asked him, what's your next move now? And he goes, I'm going to forgive it. I know that he's either got brilliant parents in his ear, he's from a religious background, or he's a matured kind of person, because you're not supposed to think like that at that age. So I kind of get both sides. But me coming from my standpoint, my cousin Paul Erahon, I don't know if you heard his name, but I did a documentary called Kids, Knives and Broken Lives for Channel 4 a couple years back. He died, he got stabbed to death as well. And like, I remember I was young, I didn't really understand what was going on, but I remember going to the house and seeing it was all over the papers, and so I know the damage it can cause. So that's probably what led me on this path. I was always going to be on this path speaking from this perspective, but I understand that perspective as well.
Interesting. It is very. Do you even the drill scene?
Yeah.
Now, were you before you had that conversation with him?
Yeah.
What was your perspective? Do you feel like it does serve any positive?
Yeah, because
apart from the fact that people are making money from it, apart from that, your perspective on it? To
reference gigs, he was you're talking the hardest, gigs better pop up in your foot. That's the hardest.
Sure. The national anthem.
The cruddy. You're taking gigs at that circumstance. The music's changed now. He's giving you lock though. Man, I got his own lock. It's changed. Like, he's living a different life. So it's like, we got to allow them to grow. I think we're not allowing them to grow. We've got to allow them to grow. And when they come out of their situations, the music's going to change. But right now, they can't even speak about something different because they don't even know nothing different. And they can't even fabricate that lifestyle. The only reason why I'm talking the way I'm talking now is because I've seen different. I'm talking from experience. I'm not talking from books. I've been on tour. I've seen Cardiff. I've seen Edinburgh. I've seen all these places. My mind's been exposed. These kids ain't been exposed. And some of them probably will never see it outside their area. As sad as it sounds, some of them's gonna die in that estate. Like, it's sad.
It's real.
It's so sad. So it's like, I look at it from a different perspective. Like, I was telling Diesel, I put it in the group chat the other day. I went to the shop just to get a drink, and one of the youngers, there's bare youngers underneath my block, because I live in the trenches. That's why conscious crud is so real to me, because I'm really a conscious person from a cruddy environment. I live in Broadwater Farm. So I was going to the shop, and one of the youngers rid up behind me, and they was like, yo bro, you got a lighter? And I was like, I don't smoke. They was like, where are you from? I was like, I'm from Ryanair. They was like, are you sure? Bro,
typical.
When I was saying to you before about it takes an evolved kind of thinking to get to the place that I'm at now, that situation could have gone left. If he goes, where are you from? And I go, I'm from Ryanair, bro. And he goes, are you sure? And I go, why are you asking me that?
Then
don't you know who I am?
Yeah.
I've been here before you. This is my estate. What happens? So like, that's how people get stabbed. It's that simple. I could have said the wrong sentence. Now it depends how evolved he is as a person to react to me. Is he going to leave it? Or does he take me saying to him, I've been here longer than you, as a disrespect to his ego and pull his knife out? It's really that simple.
You really think about environment.
If you think about what they're stabbing each other over, it's not serious things, you know.
Not at all.
It's
not at all.
It's dickhead things.
Yeah. Well, it's a bit early for the D-head.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
Sorry, but it's the passion.
Of course.
It's not serious things. It's minor disputes that they're arguing over. They can't even talk about it in public. That's how embarrassing it might sound. Why you kill my man? He said, to get that. They probably won't even
stepped on
say
my
it.
trainer or something dumb.
It's not serious.
The lives that are being lost and the reasons behind them, we got to do better, man. We've got to do better.
For anyone that doesn't know, what is conscious crud?
Conscious crud is, I feel like my music is a reflection of where I'm at in my life. So my first EP was called Kenneth is a King, because I just came out of the mental health situation and I survived it. So I'm saying I'm a king for overcoming that situation. Now I'm saying conscious crud because I've evolved into a conscious person, but I'm still in a cruddy environment. And another meaning for it is I'm trying to help kids and people that still got a cruddy mindset to evolve into a conscious person. So you can use both as a balance. Because it's like, I realize the reason why the adults can't reach the younger generation is because they're just operating from a conscious mindset. So when they sit down with the younger generation and they're talking back to them, they're like, it doesn't even work. All that stabbing and what you're talking about doesn't even work. I've got both sides. I live there, so I can sit down and I can talk to them. And then the conscious side of me, I can come to a station like this and conduct myself in an interview. So you need both. Some of them are just crud. So if you bring them up to this interview or you take them to Channel 4 News, they can't articulate themselves, so they make themselves look bad. So you need both sides to survive in this world. So that's basically conscious crud.
And even that in itself, obviously, you do a lot of, I don't know, what do you call them, the videos that you put? Because they come across
inspirational.
Because they come across to me as quite a bit of like spoken word, and sometimes they're quite poetical as well. Like, do you write poetry or anything?
I don't write poetry.
Really?
Yeah, I don't.
See, the way the flow is on your videos, because you do quite a lot of
it's the beats I choose. I make sure I choose, like, if you notice, they're like with keys, and
like,
so you can,
and you're like,
so I can get the message across. But like,
it's really motivational. So I wanted to ask, what kind of got you into that? Why do you feel that you need to sit down and post all these sort of content on your page?
I always knew I had something to say, but I didn't know how it was going to come out. I think the universe just made it come out in that way. I was on Twitter at first, and I used to talk on Twitter, but like, I'm a visual person. You need to see me to feel the energy and what I'm talking about. Twitter, when you read it, you don't understand. The person might say I'm angry, but like, you don't understand how angry they are. You can't see them to relate. So when Instagram come, I was like, yes. But how it happened was an accident. It happened from the Grenfell freestyle.
Okay.
I did a freestyle for Grenfell and it went viral, but that was just an accident. Like, I literally had something to say. I turned my phone around and I freestyled and I put it out and I left my phone and it blew up. And then ever since then, I've just been using that as the way to...
Would you say that's your purpose?
Of course, it's part of it.
You said music isn't music anymore. Tell me what you meant when you said that.
Where did I say that?
Oh, you definitely did. That's always happens when I say yes. He's like, when did I say that, my brother?
I thought I said it in a lyric or something. I had that post about it. That was just another way of me trying to get this generation to say more. I think it's because when I talk to artists that talk about like different things, like, or most of the things we call ignorant, and I have a that's another thing I wanted to say in Conscious Crud too, is the fact that the people that we call cruddy, if you sit down and have a conversation with them, you'll be surprised how intelligent they are.
Interesting. Yeah,
so
very much.
That's what I meant by music's not the same, because I talk to all of these people and it's like, why don't you share that perspective in your songs? But they don't think you'll get played on radio. They don't think you'll get signed. They don't think you'll make money. They don't want to share that part of themselves.
Not deemed as cool.
It's not deemed as cool. So it's like, then I have to step out and just keep doing what I'm doing. And hopefully, if it connects and does what it's supposed to do, more people will step out and share their stories and say what they have to say.
So with that being said, obviously now you're a whole new artist, whole new music, whole new brand. What can we see? What can we expect from you?
Definitely.
I've got an EP called Conscious Crud. I've got an EP called Conscious Crud. I'm going to release another single just before it, and then it's probably going to come out middle of March.
Okay.
End of February, middle of March. So watch out for it. And I want to do a show as well.
Yeah, that's what I was going to touch on. I'm always an advocate for getting people on the stage.
100%.
Are you going to be doing some shows? If so, when? Where can we find them?
I want to do my own show.
Okay.
I did a launch party. When was that? December. Was it last year? The year before? I did a launch party the year before, and it was amazing. And I realised for me, it's cool doing like bookings and stuff, but for me to really connect and get my message across, I have to do my own show.
Yeah.
Like it's got to
Your
be
own
like
energy.
my world, like my community. It's got to be that kind of vibe. So I can't wait to do my own show. I want to do Jazz Cap or Islam. One of the
sick.
two.
Nice.
But I think
Sick.
I was talking to someone today and they said Jazz Cap is more me.
Yeah.
I would say, from my own perspective, I love the fact that you have come out and done what you've done, because you won't remember this.
Yeah.
But probably about 3 years ago at Climax Radio in Tottenham, ironically, I was there when you and Double was having a conversation upstairs.
Yeah.
And I remember at the time I was thinking, you're not really putting much out.
Yeah.
We were actually watching Krypton Conan, a video up on the big screen, and you guys are talking amongst each other, and I was thinking to myself, you're very intelligent. You got a very eclectic mind. But you didn't hear much from me. In the 3 years since, look at the stuff that you've done. I champion it, so I hope you keep on going, and I hope a lot more happens. In the next 5 years, where do you think you're going to be?
I hate that.
I had to ask it.
What I can say is that I definitely still will be plugging this message, and hopefully it's going to connect with more people, and I'll have my own movement, and I would have inspired a generation to like look at things in a whole different perspective. That's what I want.
What's your socials, my guy?
My social is Shocka_artist for Instagram, Shocka_artist for Twitter, and Shocka Kenneth for Facebook. But find me on Instagram. That's like my office. You don't know, like my Instagram is active. I was saying it earlier on, like I post literally every day. I only take like 2 days apart not to post. On Instagram, Twitter, I don't really say anything, so find me on Insta.
Well, can we give him a round of
Let's give him
applause,
a clap
please?
out
Because
here,
that
man.
was a shutdown.
LDNRBS co-sign Shocka for sure.
Hey.